Format of the SBL exam. This is the format. It's a 4-hour exam, 80 technical marks and 20 professional marks, the 5 professional skills. I have explained what are the technical skills we are going to cover throughout this course and also the 5 professional skills. Please check out my 2 earlier videos. You'll be given the link at the end of the video. Please watch this video till the end. You'll be given one case study. So this exam is based on one case study. And you'll be having many requirements, and all the requirements is based on that one case study. It's a series of tasks. You have to do lots of tasks, and 5 to 6 exhibits will be given to you. Exhibits can be in many forms, such as it could be in a form of a graph or a chart, which is presented here. It could be in a form of interview with staff, right? What have you got out of that interview, right? Or it could be a survey result. It could be an organizational report, the annual report. Or it could be in a form of a newspaper article, right? Or it could be in a form of website extracts, right? It could be in a form of emails. It could be in a form of spreadsheet. It could be in a form of memos. So you see, exhibits could be in many forms. You can get information about an organization in various formats. It could be a memo, it could be a newspaper, it could be a press article, it could be a website article, it could be a survey, it could be interview, it could be memo, report, spreadsheet, tables, figures, pictures. It could be anything. You see, exhibits could be in any form. So all this you can expect to receive, to get exhibits in all these forms. And you have to be able to interpret each of this. You have to take the information from each of these different sources and recommend, come to a conclusion. That is the challenge in SBL. So, what are some essential skills to pass this SBL? Some essential skills which is needed to pass this SBL is, there are 3 skills which is needed to pass this SBL. Only 3. What are those 3? It can be presented in this graph. It has been presented. First is your knowledge. Knowledge which we'll be covering throughout this course. I've explained all the details of that. What are the things we are going to cover? What are the technical knowledge? What are the technical skills? Then you need your ACCA professional skills, the 5 professional skills: commercial acumen, communication, analysis, evaluation, skepticism. All this 5 makes up the professional skills, which is equal to your 20%. And one more thing which I'm going to cover in the next video in detail, that is known as the exam success skills. What are your exam success skills? Remember, all these 3 are linked. All these 3 have to be used together. You cannot use any one of them in isolation and pass this exam. Just focusing on professional skills? Not enough. Just focusing on knowledge and not focusing on professional skills? Not enough. So you need all these 3 to pass this paper. You also need your exam success skills, the techniques. Don't worry, I will be guiding you through all those exam success skills in my next video. One more thing which I want to cover, which is very essential here, because many of people have this doubt that since we have number of models number of theories under this, right, under SBL. Like we have Pastel, we have Porter's five forces, we have Porter's diamond, we have Boston matrix, then we have all those, so many models are there, right? So use of models to answer. How to use the model, when to use the model, should we use the model or should we not use the model? These are many of the frequently asked questions by the students, so I want to clarify that doubt here. Here itself I want to clarify before I proceed with the syllabus, because it's very, very important for you to get this right in your head from day one, that how important a model is, right? So number one thing is the model, right? This SBL paper is not like any other paper. This is a very different paper. This is the only paper in ACCA which is a 4-hour paper. So, and it's a practical paper, right? Unlike the other papers, this paper does not test your individual theories in isolation. It will not tell you, okay, what are the pestle, explain pestle, explain the Porter's five forces, explain the BCG matrix, or use this model only for this requirement. It will not tell you that. And also, it doesn't require the models to be quoted in the exam. Yes, doesn't require the models to be quoted in the exam. You don't have to name the model at all. You don't have to say I'm using pestle, or pestle consists of political, economic, social, technological, all those factors. No, you don't have to. You're wasting time there. Don't do this. Don't do this. Because I have seen many of the students who continuously making this mistake after being repeated several times, after being warned several times, still they go and do this mistake. They think that if they use models, they are safe, they are going to gain marks. No, you're not. In fact, you are wasting more time. Model is not for you to use that model only. No. Models are given in SBL for you to guide. It's a way of guiding for you how to write an answer. It has to be a starting point. Yes, you can use a model and answer, but I have seen most of the candidates. Suppose, for example, let me explain with the pestle factor, right? Because that's most commonly used model, and 95% of the time this model will appear in your exam, pestle, because environmental factor you have to analyze, right? So pestle has 6 factors: the political, the economical, the social, the technological, the ecological, and the legal factor. So what happens is, when in the exam scenario, maybe you might get only 3 factors. Maybe in that industry only 3 factors you are getting from the scenario, from the exhibits, right? You're not getting any point for technological, you're not getting any point for ecological. Leave it. You don't try to fit that model to your answer. That's what most of the people are doing, are trying to fit that model. You're somehow trying to get some factors for technological, some factors you're trying to put in ecological, even if you're not getting it anywhere in the exhibits. Don't do this. You don't have to use model by heart. You don't have to use it completely. It's just a way of guiding you. You can build up your answers. I can tell you, let me tell you this. Even if you don't use any model in the exam, still you will pass this exam. It's just the way you write the answer. You just have to make the appropriate points in an appropriate way, in the appropriate format they have requested. That's it. Even if you don't use the model, that's completely fine. So don't think that you have to use a model. Okay, what if I forget the name of the model? I have to memorize all these models by heart. Oh my god, so many models to remember. Don't. And one good thing about this SBL is most of the knowledge is brought forward knowledge. Nothing new addition is here. So all you have studied previously is only coming up in a more advanced way. That's it. So you can relax, calm down. It's a very practical knowledge. It's a very practical knowledge. You can even answer this paper from your common sense. It's just that easy. The reason why many students fail SBL is not because of knowledge, it's not because of the professional skills, it's because of that third component, which is the exam success skill. That's where they go wrong. That's why it's very important for me to include that part in the next video. Right? Second thing, in fact, the examiner is so kind to you that it's up to you to use the model. Which models to use in exam will be purely a choice of student. It is based on the student's judgment. If you think for this scenario, pestle would be better than Porter's 5 forces, sure, go ahead. Another student in the same condition might be using Porter's 5 forces. No problem at all. Both of them will be gaining marks. Both of them will be getting marks. Right? Because important thing is whatever model you use, that's not relevant. Relevant is what other points you covered. If a scenario is talking about some government issues, some political issues, some technological issues, are you covering those issues in your answer? That's the important thing. Okay, for example, pestle. Again, I'm taking pestle. Okay, most of you, when you get some, because it's not clear cut which one falls under which factor, right? Whether it's a political, whether it's ecological, whether it's technological, some are clear, but some it's hard, whether it's political or legal, especially in political and legal factor. So we spend so much of time to figure out under which heading should I put this. Should that come under political or should that come under legal? Don't waste so much of time. The examiner told in the examiner report that it's not important under which heading you put under any heading, but your point has to be appropriate. That's it. Examiner has made things so much easier. We are the one who are taking things in a more complex manner. Don't do that. You don't have to emphasize so much on models. Just have an understanding how the model works. Use the model in an exam when you don't know how to try, how to start an answer, how to write an answer, from where to start. That time these models are going to be useful to you at that time. For example, let me give you a scenario. A question is asking, analyze the business scenario of this company. Okay, blah blah, some company they have given, company X. You don't know what is the starting point. You think, so now you can use Porter's 5 forces or you can use pestle. I used pestle. So what I have to do, pestle already has the headings, the 6 headings. Put political, ecological, social, technological, legal, all those factors. Under all those factors, can I now explain? Isn't it much easier for me now? Because I'm using the model. Under each heading I can explain now, right? That's why we need the model. Model is a guide for you to write an answer. If you are lost somewhere, if you don't know how to write. But if you can manage to write an answer without using a model, fair enough, you can go ahead. So don't become too dependent on a model that I have to use a model. Oh shit, I forgot a model. What am I going to do now in the exam? Don't panic. If you have forgotten a model, still okay, go write your answer. Write that answer in any way you think. Okay? In any way you can write an answer. It's fine. You are flexible enough to adopt the way you want to write it. So the third one is, it is recommended, if I'm using a model, remember this, if planning to use a model, recommended to use models which is most relevant to the task. Yes, most of the time you are confused because most of the time 2-3 models are fitting into one scenario, into one requirement, right? You cannot deny it's happening with all of us. It has happened once in our lifetime. It's happening to every one of you, that sometimes we know the answer, but we don't know which model to use because we are getting three models which is fitting under one. Now we are in a confusion which one to use. In that condition, okay, what you have to do is, when you're reading the exhibits, just see under which model you are getting the most point. For example, if you are getting more for political, ecological, social, technological, then it's clear that pestle is more relevant. But if you are also getting information like under Porter's five forces, okay, the bargaining power of supplier, the bargaining power of customer, the competitive rivalry, if you're getting those kind of information more in the case scenario, that means you have to use Porter's five forces. That time pestle will not be so much helpful. Yes, you can use pestle, but it will not be so much relevant and so much helpful for you to write answer, to complete your answer. So you see, you have to see in under which model you are getting most of the answer. Is it more like political, ecological, social, technological, or is it more like competitive power of buyers or suppliers? Because ultimately both are external factors, right? Porter's five forces also, and also pestle. You can use any of them to analyze your business environment, but you have to see what type of information you're having there in the case scenario. Based on that, you have to answer. So that is your starting point, right? So that's it for today. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and share this content with your friends. Share on your social groups, share on your WhatsApp, on your Instagram with your friends, and let them to come to this, and please see this video because it's going to be very helpful for you in the exam. Trust me. All you have to do is just click on that bell icon, click that subscribe button. That's it. Everything will be provided to you. Everything is free of cost, right? You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to worry about anything. You just have to press that. That's it. You can also connect me on my Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. And please check out the next video. Next video will be on the exam success skills. Thank you and take care.